Mr. Kalaivanan Loganathan, PhD student, King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, KAUST, KAUST Solar Center, KSC, Material Science and Engineering, PAC Division, Tual, Saudi Arabia. I request all the participants to switch off your mics and videos. I request Ms. Brinda Ramasubramanian to address the speaker.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, and I welcome all the participants and speaker. So this is gonna be like interactive session with the participants, making them more engaging in spite of regular webinar session. Today I am very privileged to welcome Mr. Kalaivanan Loganathan, PhD student, KAUST, Saudi Arabia. Mr. Kalaivanan Loganathan is an experienced scientific researcher with 3+ years of project experience in interdisciplinary background of science and engineering. His achievements include state rank holder in 2011 Tamil Nadu Higher Secondary Course HSC in Tamil Language and scholar recipient in both master's and doctoral degree programs. He had worked as a part-time physics teacher at Elite Academy, Pondicherry, and he is an expert and continuous learner in the field of nano and large-scale electronics. He has contributed around 6 papers in peer-reviewed journals and submitted 2 US patents so far. He has attended oral presentation in various fields of his expertise, several international and national conferences, including MRS and SPIE conferences. He has been constantly career mentoring his fellow and junior fellows on CV writing, research presentations, and helping them to find academic position. In general, he is very much humble and guides a lot of juniors and students, even me, in sort of career research and so on. With much happy and eagerness, I welcome Mr. Kalaivanan Loganathan once again. And as I said before, the whole session will be interactive and engaging. So with these words, I request Varshini to start the session with the questions to the speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Brinda. So with that being said, I guess we'll just move on to the session. We have a certain questions for the speaker today. So let me start with the questions, and the participants, if you have any queries, kindly post them in the chat box. Engage yourself at any time. Participants, if you have any questions at any time of the conversation which is going to be happening, please post the questions in the chat box. It will be answered at the end of the session. So let's begin with the questions from our side, Novus 2020. Sir, are you ready? Can we start it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So the first question is, what's the future scope of nanotechnology in India and in global markets, especially in the field of renewable energy resources?
Okay, so that's a very good question. So, first, let me start with the scope of nanotechnology in everywhere, like in globally. So we all know the next emerging technology is the Internet of Things, Internet of Everything, where you have thousands of sensors or devices connected to each other, and then they make our life much better. Like you can say better healthcare or smart cities or whatever. So, and also emerging 5G and 6G. So the nanotechnology and nanomaterials, and they will play a huge role in those sectors, especially in healthcare and smart communications. So in this slide, what you see here is what the sensor I mean to say is this displays electronic devices, energy devices, and sensors. They should be made at low cost and without compromising the high performance. Okay, so these are the building blocks of all kind of devices, and it has a huge impact on every sectors, energy sector, healthcare, everywhere. So the bigger play of nanotechnology will be on these things. As you can see, the emerging communication technology, like this, sort of from the first generation of mobile communication to the 5th generation. This is where we are now, and the next one will be the 6G. Basically, the communication frequency is increasing, and the much faster and much smarter devices are coming up. As you can see from this small 2G mobile, where you can only send messages and text, but now we have a very powerful machine in our most of our hands, a smartphone. And so if you see the market, basically it's growing exponentially. So this is like a billions of devices connected per year. So it's like a 75 billion devices expected in 2025, and it's going to be soon a trillion. So imagine, in order to make such large quantity of devices in every sectors, you need to think of utilizing some high-end technology and also making it low cost. And also, what is the other role of nanotechnology? So the nanotechnology is like, it's emerging recently, like last few decades. So you will have a lot of opportunities for new courses, new programs, new teaching opportunities. If you see all the engineering or science colleges, you may have the traditional or conventional courses or the curriculum. But the emerging nanotechnology, quantum technology, so you will have a good opportunities in academia as a teacher, and you could find a good position. So, and apart from that, more opportunities will be especially in energy sectors. If you consider the renewable energy, solar cells, fuel cells, batteries. So if you just go down to this, the basic building blocks of materials, the device dimensions, everything is related to the nanotechnology. Like the dimensions you are dealing with is like hundreds of nanometers, or even lower than 100 of nanometers. So it has a huge impact on every sectors, I would say.
Okay, sir. The next question is how to write a manuscript for high impact factor journals.
Okay, so going towards the, particularly to the research. So I've been working in, not working, I'm studying in a scientific field. The best way of communicating your work or anything is like doing some presentations in a conference or in a seminar. And then the second thing is communicating your work into peer review journals. So that it will reach out the community, and it will be useful eventually in the society. So how to write a manuscript effectively means you need to consider a few things. Like what I would say is, if you're a researcher, early researcher, let's say graduate student or a PhD student, initially you will have a very less experience on writing. And also less experience on planning your experiments, knowing about instruments, getting data, etc. So it's all about, outline your work as early as possible, and then you have to roughly determine what are you going to do and what you're going to expect, what you will be getting. And based on that outline, you should have a first early outline, I would say, for your project or whatever. And then based on the results, whatever you're getting, you need to interpret them properly and much effective way, and then try to write. So here I'm going to show some methodology that I'm following, especially. So there are some papers you can read about this, like how to make your next paper scientifically effective. So if you see this paper, and also there is a famous paper by George M. Whiteside. He's an expected Nobel laureate in the field of physics soon. So he wrote a paper, actually. He published a lot of papers, and he wrote a paper about how to write a scientific paper and make it more effective. So what he is trying to say in this paper is, like, basically, you just start with your outline, plan your outline of your project, and try to have your the results and everything as a figure plan. So, for example, what I mean to say as a figure plan before you start writing your paper. So this is my this is the paper I'm currently writing for a high impact journal. So this is just a simple example. So this is like my figure plan. Based on this figure plan, based on my results, I prepare this figure plan. So you need to have some figure plans to outline your results, and then you can easily start your writing. So first you need to have a proper outline, and then you need to have a figure plan. So this is one example of my current paper. So you need to prepare a nice schematics, photographs, and effectively present your results. It is easily readable. So because in your community, people quickly go to the paper, they don't read everything. So people mainly read the title, abstract, and then they go to conclusion. Sometimes many people, the experienced guys, they just quickly check your figures, your diagrams. what's the work. They're trying to understand the work in your diagrams without reading. So you need to tell your story in your diagrams. So if you see my current work, so I'm working on a special lithography process, which is used to make those kind of high performance electronic devices, what I mentioned earlier. So basically I make a diode, and this is my novel lithography process. This is my process, and this is how I process my material. And then this is how to characterize them, measure them, and what is the result output I got it. And then this is some more experiments. So you have to explain, you have to clearly outline the flow of your work in your diagram itself. And second, and then the next thing, the third thing will be going towards writing your experimental part first. So instead of writing from the beginning, so you see, if you see a scientific paper, it starts from the title, the affiliations, abstract, introduction, methods, results and discussion, and then conclusion methods. So there is a way, so this is from what George M. Whiteside says, like there is a way, and you can follow, basically start from the experimental methods, because you did the experiment, you know the results, and it will be very easy to start. When you start writing, it will be really challenging. If you're writing for the first time, it will be really challenging. So the best way of starting your research writing is start from your experimental and experiments and results. Because you know everything, you know what instrument you use, you know what results you got, you know what you're going to say. Since you know everything, it will be very easy to start the flow. So I would suggest start from the results and discussions, and then you can think about the methods. After the methods, you can go to your introduction, abstract, etc. So I can share this contents, like maybe when you are featuring this video in online, maybe I can share all these folders and the PowerPoints and these files in a Dropbox file folder. You can quickly have a look at it. So there is especially in KAUST, they are actually training students, graduate students, master students, and PhD students on scientific writing and scientific presentations. So they have some special add-on courses every semester. So this is a very useful handbook. You can actually, this is free to circulate. I have a permission to circulate, so I can share it with you guys if you need. And it will clearly outline how to start your writing and where to start, as I say, like the proper methodology, and then what are the things you need to consider for your effective communications. Let's say if you're writing your results and discussion, what are the grammatical things you need to consider? For example, you have to write in active voice or passive voice. You need to use a simple present tense or past tense. So there are some guidelines. If you check this handbook, they clearly outline what are the tense and what are the voices you need to use for each sections, and what are the vocabularies you need to use, the effective vocabularies. Instead of, whatever we speak, you should not write like the language should be very professional and scientific. Instead of what we speak, you shouldn't write like what do you think and how do you communicate like with the people. So when you speak, so it has to be very professional, and it has to follow some strict measures. So you can have a quick look at this handbooks. I can share it with you, and also these papers. So in summary, what I would like to say is plan your experiment outlines, prepare do the experiments, whatever you are getting, even if it is right or wrong, try to interpret them, compare with the literature, and make a figure plan. And then after you make the figure plan, immediately go and write about your methods, the results and discussions, and then the methods, and then introduction, and then conclusion, finally abstract, and decide the title in the end. So it will be very easy to write. So that's how I find it very useful, and also that's how they trained me on writing scientific papers. I hope this helps you. And do you have anything to ask, Varshini?
Yeah, we have a set of questions here ready for you. So, small note to the participants who have just joined now. So we are asking the set of questions that we have got ready from Novus 2020. If the participants has any questions from their side, they can post it in the chat box, which will be answered at the end of this session. For those who have joined the session just right now, those who are new to the session right now, please understand this. If you have any questions, you can post it in the chat box, which will be answered by the speaker at the end of this session. Okay. Sir, your next question. Your experience and specialties in KAUST.
Okay, that's a very interesting question. So my experience. So let me start with where I started. So basically, I came from a very small village. It's called near to a town called Kalaivanan, so which is very next to Salem. So basically, I study in a government school. Okay, I have to run, walk from my school for more than 2 kilometers every day, and we have the government bus, but it's coming only once in the morning, and we have to walk back by walking. So this is where I started my schoolings, and then my high school I moved to a private school, and then that's where everything got changed. So there is a very famous schools around my town. So my father decided to put me there. So that's where I started my high school, and then I actually got a straight rank in Tamil language. So even some of my classmates also they got a straight rank along with me. So and I actually decided to do engineering, and I went to this counseling and I choose St. Joseph College of Engineering, where Varshini she's coming from, and I did my bachelor's there, and then I was like at the end of my bachelor's, I mean during my bachelor's, I was working as a part-time job in a computer center. So my job is like maintaining the accounts and helping people in the browsing center. And I really don't like to work in a private firm, but I want to be a teacher. During my high school, I decided I want to be a teacher. And that's where I started thinking about, okay, let's do my master's. I don't want to go to job. Then I decided to apply TANCET exams, other entrance exams. So somehow I got to know through my friend, there is a Central University at Pondicherry, and then I applied for this entrance. I got this Pondicherry University master's in nanotechnology. During my high school, I really liked this physics and chemistry. That's why I joined engineering. But when I joined mechanical engineering, I didn't find much interesting things because it's mostly engineering, but I missed the science part. So I decided like it's good, I can try nanoscience or green energy. So there are two departments. I applied for both, but I missed the chance to write this green energy department exam. And then I got a position in Pondicherry University as a master's student. And during my master's student, this is where my career entirely changed, I believe, because what I study bachelor's is conventional degree, conventional curriculum, mechanical engineering. There for like many years. When I went to the Pondicherry, the curriculum is really different. It's like an integration between science and engineering. Like it's called nanoscience and technologies. So we have this fundamentals of physics and science studies in our curriculum, as well as some engineering things. So it was kind of interdisciplinary for me. And then there was like this kind of summer projects and the master thesis, and they let us to go outside in national labs, in other IITs, NITs. And we were like, along with my friends, I've been started to applying everywhere in India, many national labs, TIFR, IIC, IIT. So the thing is, I didn't get anywhere. So what I thought is like, okay, I'm not getting response anywhere in India. It's very tough and competitive. How about outside India? Then I thought like applying Taiwan, Singapore, Korea, US, Europe, everywhere, wherever the chances are coming, I just try to find and I try to apply. So that's how I came to know about this KAUST. And also one of my colleagues back in Pondicherry University, he mentioned to me this university. It's a very good university. They're funding a lot. They have very good facilities for research. Then I applied for a master thesis program. Like you can come here and you can do your master thesis research, and then you can go back and you submit your thesis. So they will take care of all your travel allowance, and they also pay you a decent amount of stipend. it's very competitive, and you can really apply. So that's how I came to know. Okay, so you can apply. I can share the link for this internship opportunity. You can apply. And then after coming here, I did my master thesis. I was worked in 3 different projects, and they really liked me. And my experience at KAUST, it started from here actually. I started in a very small group. It's called Semiconductor Materials and Spectroscopy Research Group. Yeah, this was my group during my internship. I've been working on some photodetectors, some other electronic devices, and lithography process. So my experience at KAUST is like what I see. How can I distinguish from India to any other outside area is like the kind of exposure you get. So in KAUST, there are like students from more than 100 countries. So basically, you will get to know about other culture, very good exposure in socially as well as in your field, how people are thinking, how people are acting on something, and you get to know other cultures. You get to learn many things. To be honest, like I was not very perfect in following timings, etc. When I came to KAUST, there was a German colleague in my group. He's very particular about time. Let's say if we say let's meet at 8, he will be there at 7:59, sharply at 7:59. So this really shocked me. Like for us in India, back in India, if you say 8 means probably will be there at 8:15 or 8:30 sometimes. So I don't realize like how important it is, because when you get to involved in many projects, when you work, you'll be becoming extremely busy, and you will get to know the value of that 1 minute. So this is I really experienced from other culture and from other people here. So especially that one thing. So when you come out of your comfort zone, like if you come out of India, I'm sure like you will get to know about many things, like many soft skills, even many other scientific what do you say? I mean, facilities, like facility wise, many countries has very good facilities and much better facilities than India. But India has a very good facilities, let's say ISC, IIT Mumbai. But when I came to KAUST is like uncomparable to any other places in terms of research facilities, because here they has a lot of facilities. In India, back in India, we have only one XRD, and we have to wait. We have to rely on that. But here we have like several XRDs. XRD is X-ray diffraction instruments. We have around 6 to 7 instruments here, and each dedicated to several purpose. So the facility here at KAUST is really overwhelming, and you will have a chance to go beyond what you think. Like because back in India, I was working on a very small thing, and here I'm working in the frontiers of technology, and yeah. So that kind of exposure I really get to know. And the other thing is I become a very self-independent after coming to KAUST. That I would say KAUST gave me that skill or whatever. So I used to be with in India. Always we used to be with friends, and we always depend on something. But when you're coming out of India or coming out of your hometown or anywhere, you will get to have an exposure, and also you need to be on your own. If you go to any place, you need to talk to new people. You need to develop your own network, and you need to try to engage yourself on something so that you don't get bored or feel lonely, etc. So in KAUST, I get to know. I came to manage myself, involving into many things, many activities, and talking to new people. I have the shyness before back in India. Like I don't talk to people normally whom I don't know. But after coming here, it's like if I'm going to a conference, if we're going to a meeting, I try to, go and meet a person and, talk something, get to know something. Yeah. So those kind of self-independent things, I actually got it in KAUST. I think it's common for whoever come out of their hometown or out of country. You will have all this kind of things in your life. Apart from cows, I mean, apart from that, what exposure I got it is like in my field, especially in my research field, I got an exposure of how to do things and how not to do things. Like for example, if I'm writing a paper, whatever I discussed, all these things are really get to know from the special add-on courses, special trainings, etc. I think a very couple of universities in the world, they are giving this kind of trainings every semesters. And what I would like to add more is I feel like I'm become more smart in terms of doing things, and I came to know a boundary that okay, I need to do these things today. I don't have to do these things. I have to control myself on such things which really stops me. So those kind of things, the decision making and these things are really happen at KAUST. Yeah, this is what exposure I got. Sorry for a too long conversation.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. No problem. Next question is how to crack IELTS. Share your experience in preparing English proficiency exams and your suggestions to youngsters attending IELTS exam, the way of preparation, mock tests, and any websites for exam preparations.
Of course, if you're planning to coming out of India, anywhere, whatever you go, the first thing is like your English proficiency test. So you have to be ready for that one. And it's not, it's not like a toughest thing. You're not going to reinvent the wheel. Like, it's very easy. We all studied at least English subject. See, take me as an example. I studied in a government school. I studied throughout my high school in a Tamil medium. Okay. So the first English, everything in English is in my bachelor's. I literally cried in my class. You can ask my friends. I used to cry in my class. I don't understand anything. I worked so hard and I got 65% in my first semester. And really pissed off. Like I really pissed off. I really hate the system. Why it happens to me and why I studied in a Tamil medium. I couldn't able to continue. It's okay. Leave it. So when you're trying to coming out of India, you have to be ready for this English tests. Anywhere you go, there are some countries they will say you don't need to give an IELTS test, but I would say if you're planning to go outside India, try to prepare your IELTS or TOEFL exams. It's very, 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 very easy. So I was like in my bachelor's, I thought like I can't do it. I was really afraid of giving this such a test, and also it is very expensive, like 10,000 rupees for IELTS. And it's very, very expensive. So I didn't give it. And some of my friends, they were like applying for this GRE TOEFL and they went to US. But later when I joined masters and when I trying to apply outside, I realized like the English test is very, very important. And I start to prepare by myself. See, we are having internet, like now everybody has internet. If you go out to the internet, if you go, there are certain YouTube channels. They constantly giving free coachings and free lectures on IELTS and other exams, and you can find tons of contents online, and you can practice yourself. What I did is during my masters, I do prepare each sections. I planned, okay, I'm gonna prepare 1 week for reading, 1 week for writing, 1 week for speaking, etc. I do practice. I even given to my friends and to check this out, and I try to evaluate myself. What is the score I'm getting? I literally start with 5.5 band, and when I actually give my exam in KAUST, I got 8. So it's a bit of practicing everything. Go for mock test, online mock test. There are specific YouTube channels you can find easily. Try to practice, and this is very, very important. You have to understand why all these universities are asking about this IELTS exam. Okay, if you're getting some position in abroad or like working or whatever, or studying, whatever, you need to effectively communicate those local people. So the speaking is very important, and you need to communicate through your community, like a perfect way of writing, etc. Right? So that's why this comes as a basic need for any when you're applying for any position. So try to be set your mind. You need to give it if you're planning to go outside. It's really, really useful, and it's really doable. Don't think like you can make it. Just imagine myself. You can imagine me like the guy who studied in a government school and studied in Tamil medium, and now he is at KAUST and he gave a 8 band score, etc. Yeah. So you have to come out of your comfort zone and go push the extreme and try your best.
Yeah, sure, sir. Next question is a few words about your recently published research works, which is colossal tunneling electroresistance in coplanar polymer ferroelectric tunnel junctions, or any other work by your preference.
Yeah, sure. So basically, as I said, like I'm working on a lithography process. So let me say, let me say what is lithography. Lithography is basically a technique that is used to manufacture electronic devices on substrates. Okay, it can be a silicon, glass, or whatever. As you can see, the conventional lithography is photolithography. They use light to pattern certain structures or devices. So basically, I'm working on a different lithography approach. It's called adhesion lithography. Basically, make some electronic devices. Sorry, it got stuck. Okay. Show my okay. So basically, I work on this lithography to develop lots of devices and been published like a couple of co-author papers, but my main first author paper is set to come and it's under preparation. Okay, yeah. Here we go. So basically what I do is I create this nano channel structures. Let's say you have first one kind of metals, aluminum, and another kind of metals, let's say titanium, gold, or whatever, on any kind of substrates, glass, plastics, and silicon substrates. And we process some kind of functional materials and export them into many device applications. You remember the first slide I was saying about Internet of Things and high performance devices, displays, sensors, and energy devices, etc. So basically, I'm working on that particular field. And so we process some functional material at top, and we make this a beautiful nano LEDs, what you see on the left side. And also we make very ultra fast photo detectors. It's a kind of sensor used to sense the lights. Okay. And diodes, as you may aware of from your high school, like we make some Schottky diodes. It's like look like a PN junction diodes. So it's basically used to rectify the AC signal into DC output. So this serves as a basic building blocks for your mobile communications. So all this 5G and 4G become more viable because of this high frequency diodes technology. So I'm working on this technology actually, and so the question, your question is on this colossal tunneling memory device. So we make this kind of memory device. The data is everything, and whatever we do is like we need to store information, and the demand for data storage is increasing. So there are several types of data storage technique or method principle, and we are like trying to explore this ferroelectric based memory storage, which is like we will have a ferroelectric material on top. Like let's imagine you have some ferroelectric zinc oxide is a ferroelectric, sorry, not zinc oxide. There are some polymers. In this work, we had a PVDF TRFE polymer, which is ferroelectric, which means when you're applying a bias or external electric field, you can turn them into a low resistance state to the high resistance state. Okay, that low resistance to high resistance happens because of the magnetic polarization change. Due to the polarization in the material change, you will have like a very low conduction. Like let's say here, let's say at -4 volt, you're like a very low current, less than 1 nanoamps, and you can go really up to hundreds of milliamps. Okay, sorry, 0.001 milliamps. So this is like a kind of switching. This switching behavior can be used to write your informations like whatever we are communicating, whatever the information is, like it's a digital information like zeros and ones. And basically the conventional method is using is floated gate transistor approach. So this window, you see, whatever you see the window, this window is used to write the information. You can let's say there is a 3 basic things: read, write, and erase. You can write at this point, and then you can erase at this point, and you can choose one point to read your data, read your information. Let's say -2 volt is reading. You can read the low resistance state as well as a high resistance state. So this can be like, you can think of an analogy between 0 and 1. So it's a basic functional device. It's a very, very, very fundamental device. There are much more complications if you think about the real-time actual device. But we are working on the very basic things down to one single device. Okay. Yeah, that's one of my piece of research. If you'd like to know more about my research, you can check my talk which I gave in US. So this is you can, if you go to my Google Scholar, and you can check my this presentation, which is in SPIE. I have talked about my process and what is my core research and what are the different technology we have been using, and what are the different devices we have been exploring. So you can check either here, and also you can check our website. So this is our website, our group website. We have been working on biosensors and hybrid perovskite materials, some other novel materials, and also organic photovoltaics, solar cells, and metal oxides and nanoglyphs. This is where my role comes into play. Yeah, so that's something I can add. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Recently, we heard that you had an experience for a couple of years in mutual funds and stock investment. Can you tell us a few words about the investment and its advantages, necessity, and how it made you successful in its realm?
Yes, that's a very good question, and I really liked you guys picked it up. So, out of research, what I learned in KAUST, what I came to know about these investments is this one. Like, it's very, 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 very important. It's irrelevant of whatever job you do, whatever the profession you have. You need to plan your financial freedom. So that's very, 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 very important. Let me go to that particular slide. Okay. Yeah. So this is like a slide which is recently presented for my friends, couple of my friends back in bachelor's and master's. So I came to know when I was at KAUST, and I came to one of my colleagues, he just told me about this investment planning, financial planning, etc. And I was like, man, I'm a scientist, I'm a researcher, I don't care about this. And he said like, okay. And then after some time, I had some financial breakdown or something, and then I borrowed some money from him, and then he asked me like, okay, what's your savings? How much you're getting? How much you're saving? Just tell me your budget, etc. So tell me about your cash flow. He was asking about my cash flow, like how much I'm getting, what are the things I'm spending, how much I'm saving, and etc. And then I came to know about this new thing, like everybody has to have this skill, because in our high schools or any other school, they don't teach these things, such things. But if you go to US or anywhere, every single person has this idea of how the market works, or how we need to plan our financial budgets, everything. So basically, if you think about whatever profession you do, it doesn't matter if you're a researcher, if you're a doctor, if you're an engineer or whatever, you need to have an idea of how the cash flow, like your income, your liabilities, and your expenses, and what you save. If you don't keep track of those things, and you will end up with nothing. See, we work for learning new things. We don't work for money. That's you need to really, really understand. But the basic thing is, I'm doing research, I'm doing PhD for learning things, not for earning money. My mindset was like, okay, I'm doing PhD, I'm getting a decent stipend, that's good, and I'm go for postdoc. Like, no, you do. Later I came to realize, like, I am doing PhD or any other thing because I like science, and I need to learn new things every single day, and eventually that will make me to sell myself, my skills, to get some money, reputation, or whatever. So first basic things we all need to understand is we don't work for money, we are working for learning new things. Okay, so this is a slide like I would like to summarize here, like why rich get rich and poor still poor, because we don't think about how the money works. Even if you're earning like a monthly 20,000 as a stipend, you need to think of saving, and you need to think of not only saving, you need to invest that particular money into something. It doesn't have to be in a equities or stock market, and it can be on anything. You just invest on gold, or you can invest on some health insurance, or plan your family protections, etc. Always your time and money has to be invested. You shouldn't say like you want to be save your time or money. Try to invest instead of saving. Saving will give you nothing. You have to save, of course, but that savings should goes to investments, and you will really get to know and financially free after some time. Because now I'm able to work. I'm 25 years old, and I can work like anything. But after 15 years, I need to think: am I financially free? Am I able to do whatever I like to do? So these kind of things will come when you have a financial freedom. Why the financial freedom is very, very important is, in my life, but in particular, I have been stopped for doing many things just because I'm not financially supported. Okay, I think it's common for everyone. So you may think of doing something, but you are not having a good support from your family, or you are not financially supported. Maybe you thought of becoming an entrepreneur, or maybe you want to start a business. You never know. So being financially independent, be financially free, will helps you to free your mind, and having zero debt. Without any debt, you can freely think of doing something. You can freely choose your job. You can freely move somewhere. If you don't like certain job, you can just quit it, and then you can go to some other profession, whatever you like. So you need to have the financial freedom, independent of whatever job or profession you do. That's also I came to know during my stay in KAUST. Yeah. So that's a summary, like why. That's how I started to plan my expenses, how the cash flow, and I started to look out reading out some books. So I would recommend this kind of books like Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and also Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hills. You just check these books. If you read about those books, and they clearly outline, they clearly explain why everyone has to aware of their cash flow and financial freedom, financial planning. Okay, and I developed this regular habits, like reading. I'm reading 3 newspapers, especially for this investments and etc., like Business Standards and Economic Times of India, Business Line. And I try to understand how these things are going around, like how this new technology, how this investments makes and great impact. Yeah, so that's I think the summary. If you want to know more about, you can follow these channels and the YouTube videos to know more about these things. And I would like to add one more thing. So this is my personal opinion. It's not like pushing you to do some investments on stocks or mutual funds. I'm not a broker, so basically you need to understand that part, and you need to know a lot of things, and it is time consuming. Okay, if you're in a research, you need to have a balance between these things, because at some point you will invest more time on this, like knowing things, and because when the money involved, your mind will change. Because you need to be balanced between your profession and these things. But if you want to continue this one, the investing and the trading, etc., you just go spend your time dedicated to that part. But if you want to be like plan your things simply and invest something without spending much time, then you need to go for this mutual funds and in SIP, systematic investment method, and you just leave to the broker. They just handle your money, and you will get some decent returns in the end. Yes, so basically you need to save, not only saving, invest. As the people say, even Albert Einstein said, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world, which means you will see the compounding interest, the returns over a time. So maybe you get less money now, even 5,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees. If you invest every single month, you will see that benefit after 30 years when you have a family, when you have a kids, and when you have some health problem, whatever. So that money will definitely help. maybe I can talk about this separately because there are many things to address. So that's all.
Yeah,
So
sir. Yeah. Actually, from our side, we have three more questions, and the participants have also listed some questions. So we'll
yeah, please go
first
ahead.
read. We'll first do our questions in a short manner, and then we'll
Yeah,
answer the participant question. Is that okay for
yeah,
you,
yeah,
sir?
yeah, yeah. That
Yeah,
sounds
okay.
good.
The questions, yeah. So the next question from our side is, can you give us a few ideas and tips about how to use websites to read books like National Digital Library, LibGenesis, and Mendeley Manuscript Writing, or any other?
Yeah. So for reading, our Indian government has made an initiative. It's called the National Digital Library. So the website, what you see here, you can basically get some basic free ebooks, free course contents, etc. But also we have this platform called NPTEL, National Program on Enhanced Teaching and Learning. So it's been like 20 years, I think. People from IITs, professors from IITs and IISc, they make all this engineering and science courses, and they capture the video of the lectures, live lectures, and you can have all these video lectures and course contents. You can, if you want to learn some new field or new courses, you can make use of this NPTEL. For the digital library, there are limited contents, I would say. But if you go beyond this National Digital Library, there is another options called Coursera, MIT Openware House, and there is one more thing I forgot it. Okay, so there are several websites for this, learning platforms. You can even those kind of research writing, scientific writing. Coursera is offering a research writing course, scientific writing course. These kind of special skills you can acquire by enrolling those courses. It's very free. I mean, you don't need to pay anything. Just you need an internet. That's it, and bit of time and dedication. So on reading and this kind of website could definitely helpful. And the other thing is I use this Mendeley software. What you see is Mendeley. It's a software. So this software is used to organize your documents in a systematic way. You can have the folders, subfolders, and you can clearly identify, for example, all my PhD research related to my nanogap devices. I just put them in one folder, and different devices into one folder. So whenever I need to read something, I just quickly go and then go to the subfolder. You see clearly I systematically organize them. It's a bit of time consuming, but if you spend some time, and it will be really useful for a longer term. Yeah. If I want to read something, I can quickly go and click on the paper. I can quickly, read. I make some highlights, make some notes. You can see this software is very useful. I gave a talk about how to use this software effectively. Maybe I can share that URL or link in this YouTube video. Maybe you can quickly check that one too. So yeah, basically I use this Mendeley to organize all the documents related to my research, my personal life, everything, my books, everything will be there. And I used to read through this Mendeley mostly. Yeah, even my high school books, etc., my engineering books, etc. All these things are organized. You can pretty organize. You can sync this in your mobile. You can also take them in your mobile, and you can quickly read through your mobile. So this is something I'm following for my reading. Yeah, that's pretty much everything.
Sure, sir. So tell us a little about your ambition and dream in the field of research and life, your inspiration or role model, the reason for which you are in the place where you are right now.
Okay, so as I said, like when I was my high school, I want to be a teacher. Then during my engineering, it get molded into a professor. And then now I feel like after getting into this research, PhDs and everything, what I'm thinking is as a research professor. So the basic ambition didn't change, but it just shaped up. Instead of a school teacher, I thought I want to be a college lecturer during my bachelor's. And then when I joined masters, I came to know about this research and etc. And I thought, okay, I can still do some research and do teaching. So right now, my ambition is like to become a professor in my field. I want to be actually in academia. I want to be a successful researcher as well as teaching, because I love teaching. The main reason behind my ambition is I don't aware of many things, because I came from a very small village. Many things in my life I'm not exposed to, and when I came to know small things, it's really kind of complex for me. Why I didn't learn this? Why I don't have a chance to get exposed to these things? Then I decided that time, whatever I learn, I would like to transfer to this next generation. So that's why I'm giving this kind of talk and everything during my free time, and try to help students, even my juniors back in Pondicherry or back in St. Joseph. I used to correct their CVs. I tried to teach them on how to write an email when you're applying for any positions, and how to prepare your CVs, SOPs, etc. Yeah, the basic thing is I love to teach. But now in my current situation, I think like I need to also do research, because I love to do research. And it's really exciting. Like if you're doing something, you're finding something and you're publishing it, and at least you're contributing to the society. Maybe not now, maybe in after 50 years or 20 years, maybe you're working, because you're working very small thing. Yeah, so my ambition is like basically I want to be a teacher, and I need to transfer my knowledge to my next generations and my peers, if possible. Whoever doesn't know about anything, if I know about that particular thing, I always happy to spend some time to teach or explain the things what I know. That's the basic foundation for my ambition. So yeah, that's my short-term goal is like I want to do a postdoc position in a top 20 universities in the world. So I'm actually planning for this Ivy League universities in US and Cambridge and Oxford. Let's see, that's my short-term goal. And after that, I will try to apply for some tenure track position anywhere in the world.
Sure, sir. That is really a generous effort from your side. And your suggestions, advice, and tips to the youngsters in their path of field research. Any suggestion or tips to the youngsters in their field research? Any do's and don'ts for them?
Yeah, so whatever I'm going to say is it's purely coming from my experience, and it's irrespective of your professions, okay? So what I would suggest to my peers as well as to my juniors or friends, you have to be more specific on everything. Like what I mean to say is more specific means, if you're going to buy something, you have to plan what shop you're going to buy, what time you're going to buy. You have to be, especially when you're making some decision in your life. For example, consider your case, Varshini. So you are in your final year, and if you want to go to the job, you have to dedicate yourself completely on, finding opportunities in companies, or you have to dedicate yourself. What are the skill set you need to develop? Instead of like, oh, I want to go to the job, but I will also try to apply for higher educations. So if you have this dilemma mindset, it won't work. It will work. Eventually, you will get some position, of course. But in order to excel in your field, I would say you need to avoid some things. Like you have plenty of options in front of you, okay? And you need to know what you need exactly, and you have to be more specific. If you want to go to the job, just forget about your higher studies, focus on the companies, focus on the opportunities, and focus on your skill set. What are the skill set you need to develop, and how long time it's going to take? So if you're more confined, you will definitely get a very good position instead of getting something. That's how I experienced in myself, as well as I definitely recommend to anyone. So be specific on what you need and what you do. And aim higher. Like we always think like, oh, I cannot apply, I cannot get that position, I'm not eligible. So if you're not eligible, try to make yourself eligible, right? It's just gonna take some time, and you need to aim high and go beyond your boundaries. In my case, if I stuck within India, because I didn't get anywhere, any IITs, any NITs, or any IIC or whatever, like any national lab, I'm not getting any position. So if I restrict myself there, I wouldn't come outside and this seminar wouldn't happen. Okay, so you need to come out of your comfort zone and aim bigger. Anyway, you are going to invest your time and efforts. Just try to push it and try your extreme levels. And the third thing is like you need to be a continuous learner. Like there is no point you will stop learning. Even though if you are an expert in the field, there are many things to learn in each and everything. Okay, so you have to be prepared yourself, your mind, everything. Even from you need to learn from your friends, colleagues. It doesn't matter if they are elder than you, younger than you, whatever. You need to be a continuous learner in everything. Like, okay, you have to prepare your mind and every day that you have to say yourself, I'm going to learn something new today. And sometimes you need to think like before going to the bed, what I learned today, what are the things I did mistake and what I learned from that mistake. Okay. So be specific, aim higher, come out of your comfort zone. And the most important thing is like try to balance your social life along with your professional life. That's very, 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 very important. Like what I found, like in my experience. So we are human, like also an animal. So we need to balance our social life, family, your relationship, whatever, and then give equal importance to your career. No, it's not like I'm a researcher, I'm a scientist, I will dedicate my time in the lab all the day. If you have your family members, you need to equally treat them, even though they don't understand your job, your role. You need to slowly, you can explain them. You need to spend equal time with them. That makes you happy actually, and mentally you will be free and healthy. So physical and mental health is very, very important on doing anything. So these are all the tips I would suggest for anyone from my side.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. So we have a question from Renuka Velayudam. She's asking, is there any possibility to have collaboration with your institution? What are all the facilities available in your place?
Okay, very good question. So, of course, you can do some collaboration. So you need to find what kind of collaboration you would like to do. For example, you are working on energy field, the solar cells, and somebody is also working in the same solar cells. In solar cells, let's go down to if you're working in DSSC, dye-sensitized solar cells, and you have to find if there anyone else is working on DSSC here. If the person is working, you need to contact that PI saying this, okay, you have this idea, you have this work here, can you able to collaborate? You can talk to them via email, or you can ask for an internship to exchange programs or whatever. You can come and you can do your experiments, or you can do that particular idea of your project. That's definitely possible here. The people here are very more nice and open. In terms of like collaboration, what do you think is like giving samples, measuring something, and that's actually not a collaboration, I would say. So the collaboration is like exchanging knowledge between your current PI or current firm to the KAUST. So of course, if you have a project, and they will definitely help you on the characterization, but you need to find them, you need to contact them personally. And there is another option, like you can send samples, and they will charge some amount and they do some characterization, but that's not gonna help you anyway. You are giving money and getting some results, you're not learning anything. Okay, so I would say collaboration in the sense you have to involve, try to contact them in your field, the PI or the concerned person, talk about your ideas, exchange your ideas, and ask about mutual exchange options or whatever, and also ask for some positions. Like that's how it works. One of my friends, she is from Calicut, and she actually proposed the idea to a professor here, and he really liked it. and he sponsored her travel, and he sponsored her stipend, etc. And she came here. She tried that work. Even it wasn't like a very good work, but she tried, and the idea was very good. She had an opportunity to come here, and she did her internship here, and she developed a network, and this guy supported her for a position in another country, and she's doing a PhD in Australia. So this is kind of, you have to develop your network. Collaboration means this is the collaboration. Yeah, this is of course possible. Yeah, try.
Definitely, sir. We have a question from Dr. S. Karthik. He's asking how to get Saudi Arabia fellowship for MS, PhD, and postdoc. How is the research in biotechnology field going on?
Yeah, I think you can still see my screen. Let me go to this. Admissions.
Sir, I'm not trying to interrupt, but if you don't mind, actually we're a little bit out of time, but we have three more questions on the down. So if you can just shorten it a little bit and answer all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, fine. Okay, no problem. So actually, you can apply through online. There is a website for this one for MS PhD. So the openings is throughout the year. There is no deadline, nothing. You can apply for the PhDs or MS program, or also for internship, postdoc. For specifically, you need to email them directly to the PI attaching your CV. Okay, that's how it works.
Okay. We have a question from Sobana Narayanasamy. She's asking which one is best free plagiarism software? That is, she's asking which is the best plagiarism free software. Is it safe to publish your work there?
Actually, so in my university at KAUST, they are sponsoring this Grammarly. You have the basic version that is free, but you cannot check the plagiarism in Grammarly. I don't know if there is any free plagiarism software. I think mostly it should have a subscription or a paid one. Most of the universities, they are sponsoring in abroad, like many universities. If you are using the university website, internet, you will get the network license for them. I don't know, to be honest, any specific free plagiarism software. And also publishing, I don't understand whether you submit your document and you get the plagiarism report, I guess. I think it's safe. It's not like nobody gonna steal your ideas or publish your work. It is safe actually, but do it in the the professional softwares like Grammarly, Turnitin, Authentic. Yeah, so these softwares are very professional, and you need to pay actually. But our universities has to sponsor this, but yeah, I'm not aware of any free software. Sorry for that.
Okay, so no problem. She's also asking what's the age limit and other conditions for postdoc at KAUST.
Okay, I don't think so. There is an age limit, but some countries, some universities, they impose some age restrictions. But KAUST, I think they don't have this age restriction, because I have seen many people at even 40s, 45s, they're doing postdoc. I guess, yeah, there is no age restriction.
Okay, sir. This is the last question for the session today. It's from Nandini. She is an MTech student. She's asking how to apply for KAUST internship program during master's degree. Is there any exam needed?
Okay, there is no exam actually. So there is in my slide, I think I failed to inform the things. Okay. There is a link for this internship positions. It's called vsrp.kaust.edu.sa. VSRP means Visiting Student Research Program. So KAUST has this special program to attract candidates around the globe. So that's how I also came to KAUST. That's one thing, and it is very prestigious and very competitive. There is no exams. You need to simply apply to the PIs with your CV and your interest, express your interest via email, and ask them for this VSRP internship. If they have some small projects, they will definitely hire. So that's the one thing. The second thing is VSP, which is Visiting Student Program. As I say, like you can propose some ideas, you can ask some internship sponsored by the PI, not by the KAUST. So VSRP is sponsored by KAUST. It's a special program, and VSP is like the individual internship program. It comes down to the PI, the professor. So you can simply prepare a nice CV and decide what area you want to work, develop some skills on your area, and with a nice email, and just ask about an internship. That's how it worked for me. I was like applying here and there, and then I got some reply, and some of them chose me for the interview. Yeah. It's actually, so the two-way, VSRP or VSP. This is how you can apply for an internship. And there are some other internship for your master's thesis, like during your master thesis, like the final year master thesis. At IMEC, there is IMEC in Belgium. They are having a special program. So there are several programs around the globe. You can check it out.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It was very nice having you here today, giving us this wonderful, informative knowledge of yours. The session was very informative and engaging, sir. Sure, the participants will make absolute use of it. I request Brinda to conclude the session with the vote of thanks.
Yeah, the session was all very informative. And if participants, if you have any questions in the future, or if you have some queries, you can directly contact the speaker through his mail ID. You can just search his name in Google Scholar, you will get his mail ID. You can mail to him, I'm sure he will answer. He is a very, friendly sort of person. And to conclude the session, on behalf of everyone attending the meeting, our supporters, I extend my hearty thanks to Mr. Kalaivanan Loganathan for sharing his precious time with us and exchanging valuable information to our active participants. The session as a whole was very informative and engaging. Sure, our participants will make great use of the content shared today. I would like to thank the participants who were very cooperative and patient throughout the session, and hope the session was very useful to the audience. Thank you to the speaker also. He has done the best, and he has shared a lot of knowledge with us today. And participants will receive the feedback form only on August 26, 2020, and certificate will be issued to the participants who attend more than 5 sessions. Thank you all, and thank you, Mr. Kalaivanan Loganathan, once again for your precious and
All right, thank
informative
you.
sessions.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for the organizing. Yeah.
Yeah, with this we will end the session. Thank you all.
The main host, the main speaker, but he is giving advice to junior. No, they will conduct which university.
This is
Not
like
in university.
there is
Consulting service.
Tamil Nadu University, some university.
University, yeah.
I think so. Some
University, they will conduct and they will invite you.
yeah. That's the case. Some I think he shared
But मुझे लगा
form with
इसी
us.
का जो पहले इंडेक्स में काम करता है वो सेम ही चीज है.
Mr. Mayur Taksande, you have your video and audio on by